airs Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central on the Oprah Winfrey Network, or OWN, as we call it. So I'm glad that you're joining me tonight. Tonight, we're going to have a great discussion. Our discussion tonight is about family. Now, we all come from a family. It all depends on what your family looked like. Was your family the Dukes of Hazzard, or the Beverly Hillbillies, or the Brady Bunch, or maybe the Huxtables, or the Jeffersons? What did your family look like? Because whatever it looked like and whatever you experienced there in your family, trust me, it follows you throughout your life. Because our family is the place where our roots get watered. Our family is the place where we get that first impression and understanding of who we are and how to expect to be treated in the world. Our family is where all sorts of human skills and relationship skills are modeled and demonstrated that we either move toward or move away from. So the family is such an important element in our lives. But tonight, we're talking about the family that can't stay together. Those families that just seem to be thrive, if you will, on chaos or confusion or dysfunction. Families where bad behavior, inappropriate behavior has been accommodated, tolerated, and accepted, and sometimes becomes the family norm. We have families where silence is another member of the family. We have families where violence is a member of the family. We have families where everyone is off doing their own thing, and then we have those families where everyone stays together, but they don't really talk about what's going on. And all of this will break a family down. So we're looking at families tonight, and really think about, what did you learn about who you are in your family? What did you learn about how to expect to be treated in the world in your family? What did you learn about giving support and being supported in your family? This week on Iyanla Fix My Life, you're going to see the story of a family that is in breakdown. A story of a man caught between two women, his wife and his mother. What do you do about that? When the wife and your mother don't get along, or the husband and the father don't get along, and you are stuck in the middle. But there are so many other interesting dynamics that go on in the family. One of the things that I learned when I was studying to be a addiction counselor was that we repeat our family patterns over and over and over, and we stay loyal to our family patterns in every single aspect of our life. If there are things that were ingrained in us in the family, me, for example, I grew up in a family where every Thanksgiving you had to have 5 different meats, 6 different potatoes, and all sorts of other wonderfulness. And to this day, I cook a Thanksgiving meal as if I'm feeding half the United States Army. And sometimes there's nobody but me there to eat the food. So we stay loyal to our family patterns. But there are other patterns that aren't as happy and joyous in our families. Patterns of sadness, patterns of anger, patterns of fear, patterns of shame and guilt, patterns of unworthiness and worthlessness, patterns of struggle, struggling to get it, struggling to have it, struggling to make it. And you'd be surprised how just being involved in that at a very young and early age will show up in your life today. So I want you to submit your questions. If you're looking at the board on the Hangout and you see a question there that you'd like me to answer, vote it up so that we'll know and we can go to that question. Or if you have a question that you'd like me to answer after the broadcast and send it to you, or post it up on the Google site, send that question to Iyanla Fixins. Iyanla, that's my name. I know nobody can spell it. Let me do that for you. Iyanla, no S, Iyanla Fixins at Iyanla.com. So you can send your question there, and I'm going to answer a bunch of questions and post it up on the site after the broadcast. But if you have something that you want me to consider tonight, then you can send it to Iyanla at Iyanla.com. Also, if you want to send questions during the week, I have a team of coaches working with me. We're trying to answer as many as possible and get you some support for the things that you're raising. Not that I'm giving you advice, I don't give advice, but that I'm offering you some support, because remember, you have to do the work. All I can do is point you in the right direction and give you some tools. So, family. I've got a question on the board. We've got 3 guests tonight. How exciting is that? I want to thank all my guests, as always, for sharing themselves with the broader viewing audience. If you've got some friends who've got some crazy relatives, tweet them, text them, let them know they need to come join us and to hang out. Here's our first question for the evening. How do I navigate and be in a relationship with my mother who suffers from guilt, mental and physical illness? I have compassion, gratitude, and deep love for her, and I'm tired of feeling drained, disappointed, and sad after every interaction. I really want peace. That is a beautiful, beautiful question, because for you it's your mother, for someone else it's a sister or a brother or a father, someone that seems to have a very depressed level of energy, and so when you're in the space with them, it jumps on you. It's on you, and dealing with them is on you. So here's 3 things that I want to offer you. Number 1, it's a basic coaching skill. It's a skill that I teach all of my students first day in the class. See the loving essence. You've got to learn how to see beyond the behavior, see beyond the speaking, see beyond whatever names you give it, mental illness, physical illness. You've got to see the loving essence of the person and know that they are not their behavior, they are not their condition, they are not any of that. Because it's your mother, it doesn't mean that you have to take it on. It means that you can hold your vibration and see her, in a very different way, in a very different space, even though she may be speaking about an illness or speaking about the things that she's guilty about. That's one way you can do it. See the loving essence. See her as a divine and blessed demonstration of good and God or angels or whatever lifts your spirit. See the loving essence. And don't take on her conversation. Another way that you can support yourself and support your mom. I see that you say that there may be some mental imbalance. One of the ways that I have learned to get people to stop talking to me about stuff I don't want them to talk to me about is I ask a very simple question. I hear it. I don't try to answer it. I don't try to respond. I present this question. What is it that you would have me do with that information? You're telling me that for a reason. Do you want me to respond, or are you just venting? If they want you to respond, then you can respond. And if they're just venting, then see the loving essence and let them vent. Some people just need a place and an ear. So many people walk around, even in families, feeling like they're not heard and they're not seen. So number 1, see her loving essence. Don't see her behavior. Number 2, when she shares the information or when the behavior comes forward, you just ask her, what is it that you would have me do with that information? Do you want me to respond, or are you just venting? That's another way that you can deal with it. And finally, it's what is called, I didn't coin the phrase, Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind, coined the phrase. He called it gold key it. So that means no matter what somebody puts at you, you gold key it. And you say, there's nothing but love here. There's nothing but love here. I'm turning that in love. I'm covering that with love. I'm gold keying that with love. No matter what they say, no matter what they do, there's nothing but love here. So if you can get yourself at a higher vibration, it really doesn't matter what anybody else does, what anybody else says. It doesn't matter that it's your mother. Maybe because it is your mother, you have a higher expectation, or it's hard to see your mother. suffer. So instead of seeing the suffering, see the loving essence. I hope that's helpful. Yeah. Do we have another question? How do I foster a healthy relationship with my siblings who witness my mother's abuse of me but don't acknowledge or wish to discuss it? Their visions of my mother and mine are so different, and I find myself jealous of their life experience. That's Maria Mutitu. Maria Mutitu. Well, that is exactly what happened with me and my brother. He had a very different experience than the one that I was having. He had a very different experience of my father. He had a very different experience of my grandmother. He had a very different experience of my drunken uncles and aunts who were fighting in our basement every weekend, and we had to clean up the glass and the vomit and the paper and whatever else they left out. He had a very different experience of it. I was horrified. He thought they were all just funny and laughed at them. So here's what I want to offer you, Maria. The only way out of your situation is forgiveness. Forgiveness. What good would it do for someone to acknowledge to you today what they didn't experience many, many years ago? And I know that you want to have your experience validated. You want someone to validate the fact that this happened and that it was wrong. But how does that serve you today? That's what you've got to ask yourself. And since you're not getting it, I want to encourage you to forgive. Forgive your mother, forgive your siblings, forgive yourself for holding on to this for so long. Forgive yourself for judging your mother's behavior as abusive. It was what she chose to do or what she knew how to do. Forgive, forgive, forgive. That is the only way you're going to move forward. Because as long as you're waiting for somebody to say, you know what, Maria, I'll say, you did not deserve it. And I am so, so, so sorry that it happened to you. And on behalf of all of the mothers all over the planet, please forgive me. Please forgive me. It was wrong, and you didn't deserve it. And you, Maria, my beloved, didn't do anything wrong. I hear you. I hear you. I want you to know that. Now, I offer you the gift that you can give yourself is to forgive it all. To forgive it all. To let it go. Because there's no way to change it. So holding on to it, it's only hurting you. All right. We're going to go to our first guest today. We have a guest. Yay. And our guest is Kathy. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Iyanla.
How are you?
I am fine, and I have to say quickly, I love you. I love your show, and I've learned so much from you already.
Oh, thank you, Miss Kathy. That is so lovely. So how can we support you today and getting better in your family?
Well, I have worked to break a lot of patterns in my family, especially with my mother. And I have had a good relationship with my daughter, both my daughters. They're 20 and 24, young adults. But now when they come home and I'm around them, it's like their pattern is to go right back to when they come into my house, they go right back to like they were in high school. And I feel like we start fighting about the same kind of things. There's a lot of disrespect. But when I see them not at my house, like at their home or in another area on vacation or something, I feel like we are more like adults with each other. Do you have any tips on how to break the pattern with them?
Don't tolerate it. They're in your house disrespecting you. So what that says to me is that you've established a relationship with equals, meaning somehow or another they see you as their equal and not as their mom. And what I would offer you is it may be time for you to shift out of that and to begin to create a more respectful, I don't know what to call it. I don't want to say hierarchy, but you have to let them know it's no longer acceptable. And what I would offer as the way to do it is to simply confess it. Say, you know what? I've made a horrible mistake and I need you to forgive me. I made the mistake of allowing you to believe that you can talk to me any way you want to, that you can say anything you want to, that you are, I'm saying these words, of course, you come up with your own
Yeah.
words, that you can treat me any way you want to. I am responsible. It was my mistake. Please forgive me because it ends today. I no longer give you permission to raise your voice, turn your, I don't know what they're doing. What is the behavior that they're demonstrating? But you, my beloved, you the mama.
Yeah.
Say that, I'm the mama.
I'm the mama.
That's right, I'm the mama. And you no longer have permission to speak to me in that way, to raise your voice. I tell you what, you can go from 0 to 3. When you get to a 5, unacceptable. And I will not tolerate it in my house. And there will be consequences. Lay your foot down. Because see,
Yeah.
now, you know, their breasts are as perky as yours. They think they're really grown. But they are never grown enough to disrespect their mama. Never. But you have allowed it. Would that be accurate?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, I have.
Until today. Until today. So, what is it that you're afraid of that you have allowed your daughters to believe that it is acceptable for them to argue with you, to whatever it is that they're doing? What
I
is it that you're afraid of?
well, I don't have a relationship with my mother. And so I guess I'm in a little bit of fear that I have to please them all the time, and I don't want to disappoint them.
Disappoint them. You know when you how you could have disappointed them? Left them in the delivery room. That would have been a disappointment. Everything after that is okay. No, beloved. I also want to encourage you to clear that fear out. You've got to eliminate that fear because it's governing your behavior and it's supporting you in making some bad choices. Confess that too. Confess that. I did not have a good relationship with my mom. I want you to be in relationship with you, but I've made a mistake by over accommodating, by whatever, you know, you tell your story or whatever it is. Please forgive me. But the way you are behaving with me now makes me feel blah, 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 blah. And it's no longer acceptable. It's no longer acceptable. And it'll take them a while. You may have to say that 2 or 3 times, but create the boundary. That's what you're creating now. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes, it does. And I just now realized that thing about my mother because of the question you asked. So thank you for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. No. You gotta for forgive yourself for living in fear. And as a result, not teaching your daughter proper boundaries. If you have a relationship with them that is built on mutual love, trust, and respect, not what you can give them, what you can do for them, how you accommodate them, they're not going anywhere. You almost want to get rid of them in a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah, and don't allow you cannot allow them to treat you poorly. No. How long were you in labor?
Oh, 18 hours was one of them.
You see, they need to pay for that.
Yeah,
They need to be
I
paying for
agree.
that for the rest of their life. No, they don't get. I don't tolerate disrespecting of mothers.
Well,
So
one of them does say to me, "But I thought you were my best friend."
I am, but I'm older than you, and I know some things that you don't know, and you're not being a good friend right now because friends don't disrespect each other.
Okay.
Don't mothers in every family do not argue with your children. I don't care if they're 55 years old. Now, there's a distinction between having a disagreement with your adult child and arguing back and forth. There's a distinction, and you got to figure out what that is. But mothers, you don't argue with children. What? You, I am the mama. Period. Now, if you don't like what I'm saying, go get you a chocolate bar or something and work it out. We're not gonna argue. Now that's also considering or taking into consideration that the mother is not trying to control and manipulate. You're not trying to do that, are you?
No.
Okay. So tell me what you know now that you didn't know when you called me today. Or
What I
when you
know now is that I've been reacting to my fear and that I need to forgive myself for that. And also, I need to have the hard conversation, as you call it,
yeah.
with them.
And create a boundary.
Yeah,
Create
creating a
a
boundary.
boundary. This is no, first confess what you've done and then create the boundary and then set the new standard. And there have to be consequences. There have to be. And I don't know what that looks like. I cannot take you to the mall. I cannot drive someone to the mall who speaks to me in that manner. I just can't do it.
Yeah,
Okay?
got it.
That makes sense. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you. You are awesome.
Thank you. Be sure to watch Saturday. We've got a really great family coming on. Iyanla Fix My Life.
I will. I've been watching, I've been catching up on all of your past episodes too.
Okay,
I haven't
good.
missed one.
Oh, good. Yay. I have to confess I wasn't home Saturday. I wasn't home to watch my own show. God. All righty, we're going to go to another question before we go to our second guest. Let us see what the question is. There's a lot of hate, jealousy, and violence in my family. A lot of anger is directed towards my mother, and I happen to be hated by default. How do you get hated by default? Hmm. How can I get through the dysfunction and create my own healthy family without having the best role model to follow? Many, many years ago, I read a document. I sure wish I could find it. It was called the Family Bill of Rights. Maybe somebody can Google that. A family bill of rights. It's like every member of a family has a right to be accepted for who they are. Every member of a family has a right to peace and quiet and their own safe space. Every member of a family has a right to expect to be supported. All of these things, and so very often in families, this does not happen. But this is very strong. Hate, jealousy, and violence. So I want to ask you this, Tara Lewis Charles. Who is the leader of the family? Because the leader has set the tone. I don't know if that's your mom, if there's a dad, if there's a grandma, a grandpa, but the leader sets the tone of the family. Whoever is at the head of that family line, they have set the tone. And so the transformation or the communication has to begin there. But your question is, how do I create my own healthy family without having the best role model to follow? You know what you don't want, okay? What you have to do is create that Bill of Rights for your family. Every member in my family will ... Every member of my family can ... You have to create that for yourself. And if you look at what you've experienced, not the judgment of it, that it's hate and jealousy and violence, I tell you, there are families where violence, where gossip, where backbiting, they're like another member of the family. They get a seat at the table, they get a piece of cake, they get a gift on Christmas. That people are so committed to these things and this level of behavior that it shows up no matter what is going on. So I want to say to you, no judgment, no heat. We've got to learn not to judge our family, but to say, I want to do it differently. And that's your commitment. Don't say that, cancel, don't say. I would encourage you not to be about, my family's not going to be like this, and instead be about, when I have my family, this is what I want to create, this is what I want to experience, this is what I want to share. Instead of running away from what you don't want, just move toward what you do want. Okay? Thank you, Tara Lewis Charles. I wonder where you live. So let me repeat again. If you have questions that you want me to consider, you can send them to Iyanla Fixin. Iyanla doesn't have an S, Fixin does, at Iyanla.com. Iyanla Fixin at Iyanla.com. And myself or one of my coaches on my team will do our very best to get you some support. I hope that you're learning, that I just share with you information that I have. I'm really not trying to solve your problem. You have to do the work. Kathy has to set the boundary. Kathy has to have the hard count conversation. Tara is going to have to create what she wants. Please get that. This is not Dear Abby. I'm not Dear Abby. I'm going to tell you what you have to do to create desire that you have in your heart. You have to do the work. But we can answer your questions if you send them to Iyanla Fixins at Iyanla.com. If there's a question that you want me to record and put up on the site later on, I don't have to tell your name, you can send that also to Iyanla Fixin at Iyanla.com. And I'm going to put up some questions and answers for you. I hope you are enjoying your daily dose. If you're not getting your daily dose, that means you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel. Please do so. YouTube.com/Iyanla.com or Iyanla Vanzant or Iyanla something. Just go to YouTube, look for me, and subscribe. I'm trying so hard to be technical. Alrighty, here's our question. My father was married prior to my mother and had 2 daughters. This is from Brooke Connor. Hi, Brooke. Their relationship has been strained for over 15 years due to the nasty divorce my mother went through with their mother. You don't know that to be true. You only know what your daddy told you. Is there anything I can do to bring them together? To bring who together? The daughters or your daughters and your father? Well, first of all, those are your sisters. So do you have a relationship with them? Because I think if you cultivate a relationship with them, and if you let them know that you are welcoming them into your heart and your life as your sisters, they'll end up in your father's presence. But just a word of caution, is that something that your father wants? You got to be sure that that's what he wants, because just like I'm the mama, he the papa. And if he wants a relationship with his children, he can create that. He has a responsibility to create it. What you can do is create a relationship with your sisters, okay? With your sisters. Let's go to our next guest, Sierra. Sierra is our next guest. Hi, Sierra.
Miss Iyanla.
How are you, Miss Sierra? Are you good?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Thank you for writing in. What is your issue with your family?
All right. About 2 years ago, my mom got
Wait a minute,
out.
Sierra. Do you have a mic or a headset, because we can barely hear you?
Yeah, I'm talking to the headset.
Oh, is she?
Not to move around so much.
Okay, don't move. Stand stiff like a soldier.
Okay.
All right, good.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead. Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay. So I said about 2 years ago, mom got she died, and almost everything from the way.
I can't hear you. You're going in and out.
So bad.
It's her bandwidth. Are you asking me about what you wrote me about? As a 21-year-old survivor of sexual abuse?
Well, no, this was a different issue because I didn't think that pertained to.
Okay, I hear you right now. Okay, take me to the bottom line. Give me the question. Let me see if I can hear it.
All right. My involved with a guy who was pretty sketchy. I believe that people and that you shouldn't judge people by their past sins. So me giving her that reassurance, coupled with your companionship.
Can you hear her?
I'm trying.
Sierra, I am so sorry. We cannot hear you.
She said that her mother said that the guy was sketchy, and she's trying to determine whether she should give him the in her mind, give him the benefit of the doubt.
Okay, so what we heard was that your mom is involved with a gentleman. that you believe is
Yes.
kind of sketchy. And you're trying to determine if you should give him the benefit of the doubt in terms of what? Accepting, receiving, being in relationship with him?
No, trying to say that I'm very depressed and she can barely function in a day. So my question is, why she feeling so ashamed to have her and are there any words you can offer this woman who accomplished everything except the only thing she put out in life?
Okay, let me see if I can get that translated.
So it sounds like she said her mother accomplished a lot of things, but she's now depressed, and I guess the sketchy guy is having an effect on that.
Your mother's depressed because of her relationship with the sketchy guy?
Yes, it's the relationship.
Well, you know what? First of all, why are you at 21 years old talking to me about your mother's boyfriend? None of your business. Hello? None. None of your business. If
Because
your mother wants to bring home, if your mother wants to bring home a purple baboon and feed him banana pudding in her kitchen, that is none of your business. None. No, I'm sorry. I will not even indulge in that conversation with you. She can pick up whatever she wants. Is it your house?
no, ma'am.
Oh! Woo! Who knew? No. Out of line. Is there another question? Because we can't go any further on that.
All right, my section.
We are not having that conversation about your mother's sketchy boyfriend. He's sketchy. How you know what? You 21. You wouldn't know sketch if it bit you on the butt. I love it. She just want to protect her little mama. Let me pinch your little cheek. Here's the question that you asked, Sierra, that I think is so very powerful. You said that after going through this experience of sexual abuse, that you finally came to the awareness that the reason the person would do that is because they themselves had been hurt. That's huge because most people don't get there. So either you're a very old soul or a very deeply spiritually rooted individual. And you said that when you tell people about this and you tell them how you feel, their belief is that you've skipped some of the steps of the healing because you haven't been angry or you're not angry. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. So your question to me was, how does one know when they are truly healed and whole again? Let me ask you a question. Was this person a member of your family?
No.
Okay. Is that why you have some suspicions about your mom's partner or friend?
I don't know. I've never made that connection. I think I knew
I can't hear words you
So
saying.
she never made that connection.
Oh, you never made that connection. Okay. So just what if? What if you have these suspicions or these feelings as a result of your experience? But your question is, how do you know when you've healed something? Here is what I learned. This is what's true for me. I know that I'm healed when I can talk about it and nothing resonates in my body. I don't have anger. I don't have upset. I have a sense of peace and awareness and understanding. I'm not gushing over the other person. I'm not beating up on myself. But 9 times out of 10, you know that there's no longer any residue of it when you can talk about it as a part of your experience and not feel the hurt, the shame, the pain, the anger, or whatever. So if you can do that, chances are that you really have come to a place of acceptance, and peace with it. So does that ring true for you?
Yes.
When you talk about it, nothing resonates. I mean, not even an explanation about why it happened.
No.
Okay. So other people can't tell you when you're healed. You have to know that. But now you may not have gone to anger, but I would want to investigate that little stuff about trust and suspicion. Something could be hiding under one of those rocks.
True.
Okay?
All right.
Thank you, Miss Sierra. And leave your mama's boyfriend alone.
All right.
Thank you so much. Yeah, very, very interesting. This is almost takes me back to Kathy's question about boundaries. You know, when we have certain boundaries with our children when they're young. Don't touch that. You can't eat that. Don't do this. Don't do that. And then as they get older, we have to recreate those boundaries. You can't tell your 16-year-old kid, don't touch the refrigerator, or maybe you can, I don't know. But you've got to create boundaries, even with your adult children. Things they'll never be your equal. My children are not my equal. As a matter of fact, they're not even children anymore. They are my offspring. It is time for them to spring off their own life. But there's a boundary. There is a boundary. I can say that my son is 40 something years old. I'm not going to tell you how old, because then you'll know how old I am. Never, 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 not once in his 40 plus years has he ever disrespected me. But I established that with him before he was 5. There's just certain things you don't say and do to mama. Now my grandchildren, on the other hand, they've been a little interesting. And I had to create some boundaries with them. Let's go to a question. How do you know when it's time to let go of your adult children? Oh, Linda Roth. Let me tell you how you know. There's a couple of ways you know. Number one, if they're having more sex than you, it's time to let them go. That's one way. Okay. That's when it's time to let them go. The other way is that if you are noticing that they are not flourishing and blossoming on their own, but are requiring on you to cover the basics. I'm talking rent, food, whatever it is, cover the bases. We live in a time now, however, where it seems to be more and more normal for adult children to be coming back home because the rents are so high, and so there are more combined families. There's a way for an adult child to live in the home and still be independent. There's a piece of the rent they have to pay. There's things that they have to bring into the house. There are boundaries that they're expected to follow. No sleepover guests or whatever. But so there's a way for the adult children to be in the home and be independent. When we talk about letting them go, it means, unless you're in a pinch or a pickle, don't ask me to cover your basics. And you've got the opportunity to take care of yourself. Don't ask me to cover your basics. Now, if you're in school or you had an illness or you've just come through an unemployment, that's a different thing. But when they're having more sex than you and when you're still buying their groceries and doing their laundry, that's a problem. It's time to let you go. I tell you what, you move out. And leave them in. Here, at the house, I'm out. I'm going. And they can pay the mortgage, pay the light bill, buy the groceries, clean the gutters, whatever it is that they have to do. You move, leave them there. Let's see how they like that. How about that? Okay. Let's go to another question here, and then we're going to go to our last guest for the evening. My siblings and I were raised by a single mother. Yay! My brother, is my mother's only son. I have one of those. And he expects women to take care of him financially. Yeah, that's a problem. He only contacts me when he needs money, food, or a place to live. What kind of relationship can I have with him? A respectful one. And here's a possible language. This is a possible language. Beloved, I know you're going to work that out. I have faith in you. I know you can do it. Call me and let me know how you make out. You just draw the line. You just draw the line. And that is huge. Very often, mothers of only sons make their sons their emotional husbands. Okay, let me say that again because I know somebody's eyelashes are curling right now. Mothers of only sons make their sons their emotional husbands. I'm not talking about incest and that kind of stuff. I'm talking about they take care of them, they look after them, they provide for them, and it ruins the man. It ruins it. So what you can do as his sister is have a different kind of relationship. One where you respect him as a man, one where you want him to stand on his own as a man. And trust me, when you put this out, he'll probably get angry with you. That's okay. I've never heard of anybody dying of being mad. What killed him? Oh, he got so mad he just dropped dead right there. No. Let him be mad at you, but let him know you respect him. Call him higher. Call him higher. And don't play into that because that is a huge, huge problem. That is LaCandice McCrae. What kind of relationship? One where you respect him, call him higher, and expect him to stand on his own two legs as a man. Okay? And we'll talk about your mama later. Let's go to our last guest, Kelly. Kelly. Hi, Kelly. How are you,
Hi.
Kelly? How are you?
Oh,
Good?
I'm in my 30s.
You are. That's a good place to be.
Yes,
So tell
right.
me,
It is,
what,
absolutely.
what is your issue with the family?
Well, first of all, I want to say I'm so thankful for this experience and, I appreciate your wisdom. So thank you.
Thank you.
I watched your Google Hangout that was entitled Yes, what do you do when people don't love you back?
Yes.
And the idea of pathologies really resonated with me.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, she froze.
Yeah,
You froze, Kelly. Oh, Kelly froze.
family.
Oh, again. Okay.
oh,
There she is.
oh no.
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay. Okay, great. So I know that my pathology is rooted in rejection and betrayal, and I
Okay.
know its origin. So I've identified patterns and so forth. Um, I would like to know if you could take me through the process of getting free of the pathologies.
Forgiveness. Forgiveness. There's no other way out. There's no other way to stand on your own two legs. You've got to forgive those experiences, forgive those people. And I mean, this is why in the fall, I'm doing a 6-week course on forgiveness for OWN. Because I'm telling you, from corns to being overweight to, gas, forgiveness will fix it. Forgiveness will fix it. So I hear you say rejection and betrayal. What family member are you talking about?
Well, just growing up, I experienced a lot of that with my mother. And so now I see how it plays out in some of my relationships. Not all of them, but some of my relationships with women.
Yeah. Is there another possibility of rejection? Give me a quick example of how you experience rejection from your mother.
Currently or in the past.
Well, is the current affecting you or is it the past? It's probably the past. Give me a past one.
Yeah. Well, in the past, she tends to be harsh with her words. So she said things like, I wish, you hadn't been born and things like that. She says things like that. So
But do you know that that's not about you? I wish you had
I
never been
do.
born. You do? Do you know it's not about you?
Oh,
If you
I'll
know
say
it,
I'm learning that.
Okay, because if you know it's not about you, then there's no way that you could experience rejection. That is not about you. That is a level of pain and hurt and self hatred that is just being projected outward. Now, you may experience it as rejection, and I get that. And that's what you have to forgive. I forgive myself for believing that my mother rejected me. That because her experience has nothing to do with you. You took it on, and now that is having an impact on you. Does that make sense to you?
It does. It makes sense.
Yeah. And so the pathology that you are creating, you're probably going to attract women who, or be in relationship or proximity with women who speak, harshly to you, who disappoint you, who say things that hurt your feelings, that leave you feeling less than whole and complete. Women who don't honor and value who you are and the experience that you bring. You're going to attract that because of the story you're telling yourself about what you experienced with your mom. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. That's very
And,
helpful.
and the other thing is, it also requires that you create clear boundaries. Now, you can't really do that with your mom, but what you can do with your mom, and I don't know if you've ever done this, and as an adult, one of the things you can say to your mom is, when you speak to me that way, it it hurts me. It makes me feel whatever. Let her know that. Let her know that the way she speaks to you hurts you, and the way that she speaks to you um, leaves you feeling abandoned, rejected, betrayed, whatever. And then make a very specific behavior change request. My request would be that you not call me out of my name. I don't know if she does, I'm just saying. Or my request would be that you resist the temptation to point out to me what I don't do right, according to you. Just resist that temptation. That would be my request. Adult children get to make requests of their parents. They don't get to argue with them about it. Okay, I've made a request. You've let me know that you can't honor that request. So that isn't somehow or another going to affect our relationship. That's how adults speak to each other.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, I've done that.
And how has it affected your relationship?
Um, she still continues.
She's still, and how? But how
Well,
has it
I
affected?
actually moved away for a while, and now I'm back.
Back where?
And so I am back in. I'm from North Carolina. That's where I moved back to. And now, as I relate to her, I can see more that is definitely not about me, and I can see that she's trying to do better with it.
Are you back living in her house?
I am now. Yes.
So let me ask you a question. How old are you? Did you tell me
I'm
you were in your
35.
30s? 35. And yet you moved back into your mother's house where you feel rejected, betrayed, dishonored. Is that what I'm understanding?
Well, it was
Doesn't matter
circumstances.
why. Doesn't matter why. You 35. You 35 years old. So here, know this. You you didn't move back into your mother's house because you have nowhere else to go. You moved back into your mother's house to heal. That's the only reason you're there. And what is in my throat? On I was gonna say on national television, but it's really on the internet. You move back to your mother's house to heal. And until you heal this, everything you try to do in the world, it's going to fail because you're holding it in your body. That's why you're back there. And I don't know whether the healing is for you to get to the point where you no longer need her acceptance and approval. That may be a healing. Or where you can stand face to face with her, boob to boob with her, love her, honor her, respect her, and have a clear boundary of how you want to be treated that she honors. That's a healing. Or that you say no to her behavior and you move away and you have a distance relationship until she can honor who you are as a 35-year-old woman. I don't know what the healing is, but I know it starts with forgiveness.
Okay.
But what I want you to get out of your mind is that I'm here because I have nowhere else to go. The universe created nowhere for you to go so that you could come back and heal. Does that make
Yes.
sense?
Okay.
All right. You got to figure
It
out what the
does.
healing.
It does.
Let me speak to me while I drink water so that I don't choke to death and die on the internet. Okay?
Okay. No, that makes absolute sense. And so, yeah, that I wasn't expecting to get that understanding. So, yes, that's very helpful.
Okay. All right. So get to healing.
Mhm.
Forgiveness.
Yes.
All right. Good. I want
Thank
to really talk.
you.
Thank you so much, Miss Kelly, Miss Kathy, Miss Sierra. Thank you, and all of our questions. I wanna offer you again. If you have a question you want me to answer online, send it to Iyanla Fixins at Iyanla.com, or send your questions in advance. And myself and my team of coaches, we will do our best to get you some support. Remember, you have to do the work. And it's really amazing that I've been talking about forgiveness tonight because I really I have a special offer for you tonight, and that is my forgiveness kit. You know, people say, "Oh, I don't have a journal. Oh, how can I do it?" And I sometimes when every time I start an exercise program, I have to go out and buy new gym clothes. And after I wear all the gym clothes one time, I don't continue with the exercise program. But you are not going to do that. You are going to get your forgiveness kit. I want to talk to you about the forgiveness kit. It is kit. You can also get a mug because sometimes you sit down in the morning, you want to do your forgiveness work, you need some tea or some coffee or some scotch, whatever, put it in the mug. We have a mug for you. All of this is available at orders at innervisionsww.com. Get your forgiveness week, your forgiveness kit. This week we're giving you the whole kit for $52. Now that's a bargain. After all of the questions that we talked about and all of the stuff you learned, buy a kit. I tell you what, buy your mother a kit. Maybe she needs it. Okay, the forgiveness kit, your book, your journal, your pen, your t-shirt, your bag, your tea, your prayer beads, all of it so that you can do your work. InnerVisionsWW.com. Orders at InnerVisions. Go take a look at the forgiveness kit. Oh, well, we've had some good family questions tonight. I love the questions coming from our moms. I love the questions coming from our daughters. Remember that your family is the relationship that waters your roots. And those roots have grown into the stature that you have today in the world. Nothing causes greater hurt, harm, or danger than, okay, he's telling me something.
People want you to walk through the kit again.
Your family. You want me to walk through the kit again? All right, here we go. In your forgiveness kit, this is what you get. You get forgiveness, 21 days to heal, to forgive everyone for everything. It's a journal kind of book, but you don't want to write in the book because it's too pretty. You also get a series of meditations voiced by me, my very own self, healing, forgiveness, peaceful, stillness. So you don't want to write in your book. So in the kit, there is a journal. You get a journal, and the journal says what? Forgive everyone for everything. The other thing you get in your kit is a t-shirt. We have all sizes. You can have it in purple or you can have it in yellow. The t-shirt, what does it say? Forgive everyone for everything. That's what the t-shirt says. And you get your bag so that when you go to the beach on Saturday, you still take it with you and do your forgiveness work. You'll forgive everyone for everything at InnerVisionsWW.com, $52 for the whole kit.
Use the URL on screen so we know that they came from our.
And you are going to use the URL screen. I don't know where that is.
It's
where
on the
is
screen,
it?
the bottom of the screen. We're giving them a URL.
It's on the bottom of the screen. Look for the URL. I hope you know what that is because I have no clue. But find it and use it so that we know that you came from the Iyanla Fixins Google Hangout, and that's how you get your discount, the $52. Okay? So buy one for a friend. I hope you've learned something tonight. If you have, send me a note and let me know at Iyanla Fixins at Iyanla.com. I hope you will tune in this week, Saturday night, for Iyanla Fix My Life, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central on OWN. Only on OWN. When we look at a family of a man stuck between two women, his wife and his mother. Oh joy, oh rapture. You know that's going to be good. Next week we'll be here again. I thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a very good week. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Iyanla, what is it? They try to tell me these things, and I just don't remember. What is it? Iyanla YouTube / nobody's helping me. Go to YouTube and look me up.
Iyanla Vanzant.
Okay, YouTube / Iyanla Vanzant. I guess that's it. Has anybody told you they love you today? Let me be the first to say, I love you today. I thank you for joining me. Have a great week. I'll see you Saturday. Bye.